I see our icons again.
Alright, I started recording.
Oh, okay, so we're doing this now. This is
Yeah.
it. This is the home stretch. This is the mile. We've made it, boys.
Yo.
Okay, so hello, I am Johnny Off 14, also known as just Johnny.
And I'm Toast.
This is the AAA podcast. Yay! Pretend there's an audience, Madison.
Oh, right. Woo!
Yeah, woo! There's totally people here.
That's the audience. Alright.
Okay, there we go. So, now, what should we talk about? Oh, wait, we already know what we should talk about.
Yeah, today's
So,
topic of choice, the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
oh god, here we go.
I mean,
Because you should always start off with a banger, and why not the Star Wars sequels trilogy? It's like, it's awful. The Last Jedi is awful. The Rise of Skywalker is awful. The Force Awakens is actually kind of okay.
dang,
And there are still, for some ungodly reason, a small conglomerate of people that still like this.
I mean, yeah. This is our first episode. I feel like we're already stirring up controversy right now.
Yeah, let's stir up even more let's stir up more controversy. Free Hong Kong. We're going in hot. We're not stopping. Anyway, so now the first thing I want to talk about is why the crap did people think that Reylo was a good frickin' pairing?
We're like, okay, point to me and show me where the chemistry is, because I don't see it.
Yeah, they tried to kill each other, not just once, but twice. And when Kylo actually asked Rey, hey, join me, she just freaking noped out of there.
Like, these are two people with, like, no history, no nothing, that just be trying to kill each other. And that, where's their bond coming from? They're not even in remotely similar situations.
Yeah. It gets even worse in The Rise of Skywalker, because The Rise of Skywalker takes place a few years after The Last Jedi, and it's presumed that, like, the gang has had a lot of adventures before that moment, and so they've ganged up against Kylo Ren for a couple of years, which means Kylo Ren has stayed a bad guy for several years.
Wait, can I just...
So...
Can I just say, I watched The Rise of Skywalker, and I know you didn't, and I didn't even know that it took place years after the last one. I thought it was just immediately after.
I wouldn't blame you for that, because Rian Johnson screwed everything up. Starting with making his Last Jedi film, for some ungodly reason, take place right after The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Like, everything takes place in a void pretty much with these movies. So you get, like, no sense of time. I mean, heck, an important plot detail from The Rise of Skywalker was put into Fortnite, and that's the only place that you can get it, not in the movie
yeah,
itself.
You told me about that. Oh my god. Yeah, how do we fix this plot hole? Put it in the Fortnite game, then you'll figure it out once Emperor Palpatine gets the epic victory royale. Heck, at this point, why not just go nuts? Why not make another Star Wars movie where they have several plot holes resolved in freaking Among Us.
Oh my gosh.
If you eject the imposter, you get to figure out how Darth Vader lives and is still on the dark side.
I mean, yeah, they should just make the next Star Wars movies just in Fortnite.
Yeah, that honestly improved them.
Yeah, at least you could like shoot people to distract yourself from the movie.
Yeah. But like I want to go back to that thing I said about earlier, how Ryan Johnson made a huge mistake making the frickin' Last Jedi happen right after The Force Awakens, because the original trilogy made it so that, like, Empire Strikes Back takes place, I believe, several years, or at least several months after A New Hope. There's like a huge time jump there, and it works because now we get to see the trio being friends and talking amicably. We get to see their chemistry and their dynamic. And the prequels, for all of their faults, also got this right, because now, since Anakin has grown up from a child to a teenager, he can finally have his creepy romance with Padme, where he killed not just the men, but the woman. But because Ryan Johnson set The Last Jedi right after The Force Awakens, we get none of that. We don't get to see the dynamic of Poe, Finn, and Rey all together. We don't get to see how they act as friends. We only get to see that in The Rise of Skywalker, which makes it all the more awkward when we actually do get to see it there.
Yeah.
Madison,
Yeah, I'm here.
you muted for a second there. Okay,
Sorry
but
about
yeah,
that.
basically what I was saying was that the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy had a time jump between movie 1 and 2 so that we
Mhm.
could see our trio being friends with each other and we get to see their dynamic and chemistry. With The Last Jedi, we don't get that because that it takes place right after The Force Awakens, and that's a huge problem because we don't get to see Rey talk to Poe or the other way around.
Yeah.
And jarringly enough, Ryan Johnson goes even further with this mistake because not only do we not get to see the dynamic of all three of the trio together like in the original or prequels, but they are also actively separated apart from each other. Each one is in their own plot point. Rey's trying to convince Luke to stop being Yoda, but worse.
Yeah,
Poe,
they had to introduce like a bunch of new characters to like fill up the spaces in the other plot lines. So like we're not invested in like Rose and Admiral Holdo cuz like we
yeah,
just met
that's
them.
That's what I'm about to say. Rey has to deal with Luke. Poe has to deal with the sheer incompetency of Admiral Holdo, and frickin' Finn has to go through a casino for some ungodly reason with the most preachy character in the entire 9 movies.
It's not about destroying what we hate. It's about saving what we love.
Oh my god! Oh, pain!
I mean, that's what they were doing the whole time. So there's
Oh
such a
my
thing as like
lord!
doing two as once, you know? That
Yeah. So, not so. Yeah, Ryan Johnson just straight up rips out. Not only makes it harder, but straight up rips out one of the best parts of both the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And that's one of the very many reasons his movie is crap. But another reason his movie is crap is we were talking about earlier about the characters he added. Let's talk about those,
yeah.
shall we?
Oh god, do you want to start with Rose or Holdo?
I want to start with Holdo.
yeah, I'm chopping at the bits cuz I hate this character, bro.
Oh my god, she is so arrogant. She is
like
so
the
arrogant.
worst part about it is that it's not like she's like a misguided character like an antagonist character. The movie is on her side, which means
Yeah.
that the lesson, the moral that both Poe and the audience are supposed to take away is don't question authority. This is the rebel faction.
just blindly accept your authority. Heck, why are you even resisting, guys? Just rejoin the First Order. If you probably beg for your lives, they'll probably let you be stormtroopers.
Like, she was acting very suspicious. Not even, she couldn't even just say, like, hey, we have a plan, but I can't tell you because there might be a spy. There might be cameras, whatever. She was just like,
No, a movie.
just completely just not saying anything. Even when there was an actual mutiny
Oh my god.
that
You
threatened the
know a
mission
movie.
and then literally got, like, countless people killed because, of course, they're gonna try to find another way. Like, it's
You
just bad
know.
leadership. People can't trust you.
Yeah, you freaking know a movie is bad when you can fix so much of its problems with one line of dialogue. All Holdo needed to say was that, I can't tell you right now because I think there's a spy among us. Wow.
Instead, she was acting sus and she got ejected.
Yeah. Or she ejected herself. So let's talk about that scene where she like uses frickin' hyperspace to go through the
Oh gosh.
ship.
See,
If
okay, look,
hyper
that's the worst part about that is that's one of the best parts of the movie. But when just the more you think about it, it just totally
it's
messes.
it's so bizarre because it's simultaneously the best and worst part scene of the movie.
Yeah, like, okay, it looks cool, but also completely messes with the Star Wars universe because that's not how hyperspace works. It's more of a wormhole. Like, that's how you don't get blasted into asteroids and get launched into planets when you're traveling that far across the
Okay,
universe.
okay, here's how Star Wars would actually work if that was the case. All right, Luke, All right, kid, we're heading into hyperspace. Oh, what's hyperspace? It's when your ship moves really fast. Here, I'll show you.
End
Yeah,
of film.
if hyperspace works like Ryan Johnson thinks it would work, the main cast would be dead in A New Hope.
Like,
It is
did he read, like, the lore at all? Like, I feel like, sure, an average person would think, oh, maybe that's how hyperspace worked if they just casually watched the first three films. But you need more than that when you're writing a movie, you know?
yeah. You need to if you're writing a movie on a based on a universe with tons of lore and world building, then you need to at least research some of it. And if he did research some of it, I'm pretty sure the movie would have been way better. I mean, like everyone keeps on talking about how old Luke in The Last Jedi is just a straight up worse ripoff of Kreia from KOTOR 2. Imagine if freaking Kreia was in the sequel trilogy. That would be awesome. Like, of course, she'd have to be like a hologram or a Force ghost, but you could make it happen. Madison?
Yeah? I'm just trying to think of
Yeah.
what to talk about next.
Yeah, so, yeah, Admiral Hodo, very bad character, extremely arrogant, holds off Poe from having any information, even when he's straight up causing a mutiny, causes tons of resistant soldiers' deaths, and also completely breaks the lore of Star Wars with that hyperspace scene, even though it was pretty cool. Now let's talk about Rose Tico.
Oh, man.
The, like,
At least,
Ryan Johnson.
like, she's not as
No.
actively infuriating as Holdo because she literally doesn't cause the entire conflict of the movie, but she does take away the one emotional scene at the end where Finn is about to sacrifice himself. And by the way, Finn got no usage in the third movie, so it would not have made much of a difference if we got that emotional sacrifice in the
Yeah,
second one.
and in The Rise of Skywalker, all Finn does is yell Rey. I
I
haven't seen the
know.
movie, and I know that.
Yeah, it
At
was.
one,
I even noticed as I was watching it was ridiculous, man. He just his whole movie. He's just running around. Ray, where are you, Ray? Come back here, Ray. That's the
it's
whole
just
movie.
so
That's just
crazy.
Finn. That's just his whole character in this one.
Yeah, not only that, the movie is actually kind of self-aware that Finn is being annoying, because at one point he yells Ray while Ray is in the middle of a fight to the death with Kylo Ren, and she has to force push him away.
Like, dude, I'm sorry. You gotta give up at that point.
Yeah, but no, he just keeps on going, Ray! Ray!
Yeah,
But,
that I feel like that was
oh,
supposed to add to the emotion of the scene, but it did the opposite.
yeah, so yeah, Rose was extremely annoying, and not only that, she was shoehorned in as like a romance for Finn. Imagine if freaking Rey and Finn was actually a thing in the sequel trilogy. That would have been way better than Finn and Rose, and especially freaking Raylo.
Heck, Disney could have actually done something cool and did Finn and Poe.
Oh yeah, but they need that Chinese money. They don't want to lose their social credit. Social credit deducted. Because,
Yeah.
China's very. Unfortunately, China is very conservative about that crap. But they do have a lot of. But Finn and Poe do have a surprising amount of bromance moments, so it was very clear that probably J.J. Abrams did want that to happen.
Yeah. Or at least for them to have a bond. I feel like that just kind of disappeared after the first movie, and it was a shame.
Yeah, because China was probably walking up to the Disney's office and they're like, hey, these two characters seem too gay, separate them. And then Ryan Johnson was like, oh, got it, I'll have two equally stupid side plots for both of them so they both do their own thing while being completely separated. It's genius.
Yeah. So we get no like character relationship development at all.
Yeah.
And
And
between our main trio of heroes, they're separated for the entire movie. And for the
yeah.
third one, too. Rey's doing her own thing in that one, too.
Yeah, and freaking also, the characters they do interact with don't matter because Rey interacts with Luke, but by the end of The Last Jedi, Luke's dead. Poe interacts with Holdo, but that doesn't matter because Holdo's dead. He interacts a little bit with Leia, but that also doesn't matter because Leia's dead by the next movie. And
Wait.
then Finn interacts with Rose, but that doesn't matter at all because by the rise of Skywalker, Rose might as well be dead because she's
Yeah.
barely used at all. It's
I
so obvious.
genuinely, like,
JJ
I'm
Abrams.
trying to think of a single scene that I remember with Rose in it from the third one, and I'm coming up blank. I think
Yeah,
maybe did she give Finn her necklace, or was that in the second one? I don't know.
this is a this is a Rose Tico free zone. Rose is busy. Thank my man JXE for that one. But yeah, so not only do the trio of our heroes not get any dynamics with anyone throughout this movie, but the dynamics they do have don't even matter, except for, I guess, Rey and Kylo Ren. But in the end, that doesn't even matter either, because they just end up fighting each other like they did at the start of the movie. Oh, whoopee, such a big change.
I do have to love how they put in Raylo because they really gave him that one kiss and then immediately killed them, making both the shippers mad and, you and me who agree that it's a bad ship also mad. So they literally they satisfied no one with that move.
They tried to satisfy everyone and ended up satisfying no one.
That's just Disney in a nutshell right now. Everyone's kind of hating on them.
It's brilliant. It's just brilliant how much they managed to screw this up.
Oh my!
And
Remember
then,
in the Last Jedi at the end they showed like random kids using the Force, and then that never came up again.
yeah, because God forbid J.J. Abrams use any of the extremely flawed but ultimately different ideas of Ryan Johnson. God forbid.
There's like so many just like how Finn was a stormtrooper. That wasn't like used at all pretty much. Like there was a lot of potential there. It was a cool idea. But that's kind of what happens when you have like a tug of war between two directors for free movies. And it even like not only did they make The Force Awakens not really having a plan for the next two, but even if they did, Ryan Johnson wouldn't have followed the plan anyway. So what we
Yeah,
get is just it's not even close to cohesive at all.
yeah, J.J. Abrams just starts flying the plane. It's a bit wonky, but he's doing his best. And then
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Johnson takes control of the plane and immediately starts careening it down toward the mountain because it's
Nose diving.
subversive and no one was expecting it.
Yeah, the
And
the whole
then when
subversion of expectations, man. It's like
And
why?
then, when J.J. Abrams gets back on the plane, he immediately swoops it up straight into the sky, up into space, up into the sun.
Yeah, but he
That's,
first he flies past the a million Death Stars in the sky. Okay, like
yeah,
the
the
ending.
million
Okay,
Death
the
Stars.
ending of the Rise of Skywalker. It really felt like a 5-year-old playing with action figures.
Yep.
Like, and then there were a million Death Stars, but then the heroes shot them down, pew pew, and then the Palpatine was zoom, and then but Rey was like, no, and they won.
Also that moment where Palpatine goes, "I love the Sith," and then Rey goes, "And I am all the Jedi," it's just straight up trying to copy Avengers Endgame.
Like I just feel like they set up a nice little character moment at the beginning of The Force Awakens, showing Rey as just this like random, poor just scavenger, and it's just like where it just doesn't feel earned at all how she's suddenly like a proud Jedi who even identifies as a Skywalker right now at the very end. And it's just like where did that come from? Like what made her so invested in this? Her only like character motivation seems to be figuring out who her parents were, but that was kind of like, messed up in the second one. So it's like just like I don't know. I just don't get what drives her. Like what's a character trait? I do remember she at least had some like fun
Uh,
dialogue in the first one, but in
she
the second two she really felt like a blank void even more than before.
she wants to know what her parents were like,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
she wanted to learn the Force, and
But why did she want to learn the Force? Why?
because she thought it was cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
That's
accurate.
literally it. Yeah, she was just a fangirl that just happened to be way too overpowered.
Yeah, like remember when she just randomly used the Jedi mind trick? I think that was in the first one. I feel like it would have been
Yeah,
appreciated if they showed her being
I
like pretty underpowered in the first one, and then we got to see her journey instead of just like instantly good at the Force. And so in the first one, there could have been some good conflict of her like having to use certain personality traits to showcase to like get out of situations. Maybe she's like a smooth talker so she can talk her way out of the situation. Maybe she's clever and uses a big brain move to get out the situation. Maybe she's just a good fighter without the Force, and she does that. You know, just anything. Anything.
Yeah. Like, Luke, before he learned the Force, was a good fighter with his blaster, and ended up being a pretty good rebel troop.
Yeah, instead we just get like Force Ex Machina for every conflict that Rey's involved in.
And what's even more pathetic is that George Lucas was actually able to make a freaking child that didn't know about the Force yet still be competent.
Yeah. Like, what
The
happened to
Phantom
having
Menace.
to like train for years to get good at the Force?
Okay, but if J.J. Abrams did really want a mind control scene, like in The New Hope, as like a callback, then here's an idea for you, J.J. Abrams. You can just take this one for free. How about the gang finds Luke earlier on in the movie, but then the First Order capture them to bring them over to Kylo Ren so that he can deal with them. But as they're getting over, Luke mind controls a stormtrooper, and then Rey sees this and she's like, the Force is pretty cool.
But see,
That
that would mean we would have to have Luke as one of the main characters, following up on his story. We can't do that. We just have to have him be like this mentor character who then dies. Oh yeah, can we talk about his character and how they completely butchered it?
Yeah, because that's the third character Rian Johnson made. I mean, I know Luke Skywalker was a character in the original trilogy, but Rian Johnson butchered his character so badly that might as well just be a completely different character.
See,
That's what Mark Hamill said himself, actually. In interviews, he said that, like, I can't think of this guy as Luke Skywalker anymore. I have to think of him like someone like Jake Skywalker, because he was a completely different character. Sorry for interrupting you there. I just had to bring that out. That even Mark Hamill found a problem with that.
Yeah, so like, okay, in theory, I do actually like the idea of like a previously hopeful character being all like pessimistic, because that would even tie into like the overall plot is pretty much the same as the first trilogy, and we'll talk about that later, but it's like the First Order is now in power and we're still with the rebels as like the small little guys. So that's pretty depressing, you know, for Luke, all that work. Like, the galaxy is a harsh place. I could see him not being as extreme, obviously, as in The Last Jedi, but still being like, you know, maybe
Maybe he's just like, I'm
just
I'm
he's
trying to
lost his hope.
meditate.
He's done, basically. He's like, I'm out of this. But here's the thing, right? See, that would require there being an explanation, like, you know, getting into what happened in between this movie and the original trilogy, and you know, so it maybe like some really tragic thing that happened to him, you know, just anything. Instead, his explanation for why he's like bad now is he tried to murder his son. That's already an out of character moment for him. That doesn't explain anything, because the original Luke would never have done that. He saw hope in Darth Vader. His son is a little bit to the dark side and he tried to kill him in his sleep, and then that makes him all pessimistic. Clearly he was already pessimistic before that point. So like, what happened, dude?
And some people will say that, oh, it's the dark side of the Force that influenced him to do that. And I'm just like, okay, so you're admitting it's a plot hole.
Well, if it was the dark side of the Force, they could have shown Luke falling to the dark side.
Yeah, so it's either...
in the movie, you know, communicating information.
So it's either a character not acting like himself, or a Deus Ex Machina in the form of the Force. Which bad writing tool is it? Like, you're just instead of like trying to explain why the hole in the wall is good, you go over and you make another hole in the wall, and you're just like, Well, you see, that is why a hole in the wall was made, so you could like put stuff in there.
Yeah.
I don't know where I
It's
was
just,
going
yeah.
with that, but I managed to save it.
Yeah. I just wish, like, with. I understand them not making the new trilogy about the original trio, bringing in some fresh main characters. But they still should have, like, advanced the story of, Luke, Han, and Leia. Like, take their characters in a natural direction. They're the same, but they're also different because it's been years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then can we talk about how the new trilogy did nothing with the fact that Finn was an ex-stormtrooper?
Yeah, I mentioned
Like
that
they said
earlier.
that.
It's like that's such a cool idea. Like, could he have insider knowledge? What? Yeah, like, okay. He is out here, Finn, killing stormtroopers when he was just like them, and he's just like, not even. There's no internal conflict there, there's no remorse. He's just like,
He,
woo, we got him, boys. Like,
he knows
what if,
more
okay,
than
what if he
anyone.
started, like, a whole revolution? Or, like, tried to convert more stormtroopers? That would make sense for him, right?
Yeah, and that's what another guy who like tried to rewrite the Star Wars trilogy did for Finn. He like tried to make it so that he started reforming stormtroopers, and that Finn was also a Jedi who was force sensitive, and also that Rey actually turned to the dark side near the end of the Last Jedi, because that also makes sense. And
Yeah.
also, they made it so that Rey is actually like a force leech,
A leech?
and that's what basically she like her force powers are so powerful. She subtly influences people with mind control without even knowing it.
Oh yeah,
Like
I think
we
and
in
that
that.
he used that to explain the scene with Leia, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
That would be a
that
good
god awful
twist.
scene. That god awful scene in The Force Awakens where Leia hugs Rey instead of Chewbacca. Like, the friend that she's known, not only the friend that she's known for way too long, way longer than Rey, but also the person that would be more heavily affected by Han's death.
But yeah, Finn was just ripe for like internal conflict and just an interesting character. Like there was just so much potential there. This is a space opera. Bring me the drama, you know? Show us that like the first order is bad, but it's still filled with people who are good and who are just, brainwashed. Like just bring all of that in. Give me the drama, give me the character conflicts
They actually
and
did
character
that in the Clone
growth.
Wars TV show. They did that in the Clone Wars TV show where they actually showed the clone troopers and the Jedi actually being amicable with each other and actually making a very strong bond before Order 66 happens. And they explained the reason why Order 66 even happened. It's because they've got brain chips in their head that Palpatine can use to control them.
Well, that's really interesting. I've heard good things about Clone Wars, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, they have an entire arc about it where one clone trooper accident like gets his Order 66 protocol way too early and kills a Jedi. And everyone's just wondering, hey, what the heck happened to this guy? So then one of his friends, Fives, tries to discover what happens, figures out about the brain chips, and then starts going nuts. He traps Anakin and Captain Rex in this like force field trying to explain everything. But then of course clone troopers corner him and then he gets killed. It's just insane.
Yeah.
And Vibes' death is genuinely sad.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, I know a lot of people were ragging on The Force Awakens when it came out, when it came out, and like that's fair, but also it is definitely the best of the three. Like it's not very unique. Like they could have really taken the series in just an more interesting direction. I think the closer look he made like a better plot where instead of it's just the same thing with the rebels fighting against the big bad guys, it was like the rebels and the Empire had to team up against this like extra galactical um, alien race that's like really advanced, and that was super interesting. So it's like, yeah, The
Yeah.
Force Awakens was not like super special. It was basically just A New Hope again. But still, like
Yeah.
it had some potential. In retrospect, like it would have been just if the other sequels had expanded on, the world and just done better with it. Cause the first one set up a lot of stuff that was never followed up on. So in retrospect, that makes the first movie worse because there's just a bunch of useless stuff in it.
Yeah.
But at least like
Well,
I remember the character writing was pretty decent. Like, BB-8 was cute. There was some like, some good chemistry, like some funny banter between, Poe and Finn and Rey even. Kylo seemed at least kind of interesting in that one. Even
yeah.
though it was kind of lame that he was just a Vader simp, basically.
Yeah. Although it did give him a reason for why he has a helmet, even though like he doesn't actually need it, like Vader did.
Yeah. I don't know. How did you feel about Han's death? I don't remember like feeling that sad. I was just like, okay.
I was just like, well, it's copying A New Hope, so
Yeah.
they gotta kill a
Yeah.
mentor character near the end with a Sith Lord, and Kylo Ren's a Sith Lord, Han is a mentor figure, and Han is approaching Kylo Ren. Oh, gee, it looks like he's actually turning. Oh, no, wait, he got stabbed with a lightsaber, because of course he did! Kylo isn't going to immediately turn good by the
Yeah,
end of
like
the first
they
movie, like,
showed
come
us no
on!
like see that's the thing. It didn't really feel like that great of a twist because before that point we had seen no indication that Kylo might have been like if before that we had seen him struggling between the good and the dark side and then this was his moment fully turning into the dark. That would have been like a more unexpected and interesting than just of course the bad guy is not going to suddenly turn good. And he's on a bridge.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill him. Like, come on. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just feel like
like,
Han's death did not affect me like it should have. I didn't really feel much of
yeah,
that. It was like, okay.
not only that, but also we don't really get any idea of what Kylo was like before he turned to the dark side. All we know is that he was the kid of Han and Leia, but then all of a sudden he went evil. And then he turned to the dark side, which made Leia and Han split for some reason.
Yeah, I
And
feel like the
so,
story of that, of Leia's and Khan's kids going to the dark side, and then that causing relationship problems, like that should have been the movie instead of this, right? I know that the actors
also,
are like too old at this point, probably for that.
Also, you may not know this character, but Kylo Ren is just a straight up ripoff of Jason Solo. He was in like the sequel comics of that George Lucas made, in which he was the son of Han and Leia, and he turned to the dark side, and they had to kill him.
Wait, so George Lucas made some sequel comics? I feel like
Yes,
they could have
he did.
adapted those for the movie.
all they not only did they copy Kylo Ren, they also copied George Lucas's idea of reviving the Emperor. Because yes, the Emperor does come back in the sequel comics, and they do the same thing there too. Only difference is the Emperor coming back in the sequel comics actually makes sense because it's explained he's using cloning.
Yeah, so it's not like the same guy. It's a clone, but still him.
And then like Luke has to turn into like this being of like the light that represents the light side of the Force to kill Palpatine. He basically like supercharge. He basically becomes a super Jedi.
That's- Okay, that's pretty awesome. Just going Super Saiyan in the
And
symbolic
uh,
fight of good and evil. Okay, that's pretty
and
cool.
also Luke makes his own Jedi Order, which is way more lax than the original Jedi Order. Like, you can actually have a romantic relationship and marry. You
See,
can
that
use
seems
blasters as
exactly
your
like what
weapon.
Luke would do. He's not just
You
gonna
don't really
fuck
need.
off to an island somewhere. He's gonna, he ends up becoming a mentor himself, but more like lax and progressive with the rules. Like that,
You don't need.
that's perfect.
You don't really need Jedi robes unless it's a ceremony. If it's not a ceremony, you can wear whatever you want. And yeah, it's way more lax. I would have loved to see a sequel trilogy where we get to see Luke's new Jedi Order, because that would be awesome. To, like,
Yeah.
see Jedi with blasters,
Yeah, like what
wearing.
happened? There's like no Jedi in the new trilogy, which I guess, I mean, I know that's like the point or whatever, but it would have been
Yeah,
cool to see a new Jedi Order for sure.
yeah. The like Luke Skywalker said said he wasn't a Jedi anymore, and Rey didn't really become a Jedi until like the Rise of Skywalker. So really, there was only one Jedi in the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the original trilogy, they had Darth Vader too, who was who was once a Jedi but turned back to the side of good. Oh, and they also had Yoda and Ben. So there was four Jedi in the original trilogy, and don't even get me started about the prequel trilogy. There was just like thousands of Jedi there, but
Yeah.
that makes sense because it happened before Order 66.
Yeah, this is the story of the Empire coming to power, you know?
Yeah, and also, I guess this kind of proves that you need an adequate amount of Jedi to make a good trilogy for Star Wars. Like, if you have four Jedi, not too much, not too little, then you have the perfect story. If you have, like, thousands upon thousands of Jedi, that's too much Jedi. And I mean, like, your story's still decent, but like, the CGI is crap, the acting is crap, all that stuff. And then in the sequel trilogy, they only had one Jedi, so like
Yeah, well,
everything was
don't
just
forget Leia
completely
randomly
ruined.
uses the Force.
Ah, yeah.
And then she still dies anyway. So
Oh,
like
look, it's Leia Poppins.
yeah, that was like what? I don't
As,
know.
as that seems I mean, it's kind of sweet considering that like Leia died the actual Leia, Carrie Fisher, died shortly before that. It's like, oh, she may be dead, but she still lives on in our hearts. But like from a plot standpoint, just no.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what Ryan Johnson was going for, and I commend the effort, but
It
no.
just came the execution was just no.
Yeah. It could have been done much better. It also could have been done without Admiral Akbar having died as like a background character.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he just like dies. He just like dies in the background with zero acknowledgement. One of the most popular characters in Star Wars. The character that said, "It's a trap."
Mhm.
And then, like, the Rise of Skywalker tries to patch it up by having his son and going, like, you're his legacy.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I
they
don't
have his
remember that either.
son.
Oh my gosh. I think I was just like really zoned out because The Rise of Skywalker was so boring. It's just
I
like bleh.
yeah, yeah, like did you remember the MacGuffin hunt?
I remember there
Yeah.
was a knife thingy or a thingy, and she held it up to the mountain, and the silhouette was the same of the ruins of the Death Star. Which, I mean, what if the ruins collapsed or changed shape throughout the years? They're literally on the ocean, but whatever.
And then Ray's just like, well, shit, I guess we're not going to be able to find the Emperor, guys.
But like the
Sorry
whole
about
lead
that.
up to that point, I can't even remember. Let me look at the freaking Wikipedia article.
Yeah, and then you watched. I haven't watched the movie. I remember more than you. That's kind of like a testament to just how garbage this movie is. Because I'm pretty sure if I saw it, I'd be in the same boat as you. I'd barely remember a darn thing. But because I've absorbed so much of the Rise of Skywalker's plot, not from the actual movie, but through YouTube review osmosis, I actually know what went on still.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker hasn't drained my brain yet.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, my brain was just mush throughout that movie. Say what you will about The
Do
Last
not blame
Jedi,
you.
but I was on the edge of my seat at least for that, even if it was in anger I had for a holdo. I have every inch of that movie seared into my brain, unfortunately. Whereas if The Rise of Skywalker, I would have to use YouTube review osmosis as well because unlike the
Oh,
movie, YouTube reviews are actually engaging and interesting.
yeah. You're actually engaging, which they're like freaking Mahler's videos, which are mainly just like him talking over clips of the movies he's talking about or clips of stuff, are more entertaining than the Rise of Skywalker. Genuinely. Freaking Kretosis' videos that aren't the stag streams are more entertaining than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hard thing to beat. I really only remember like the end, her finding the Death Star. Oh, there's like Vader's helmet in there, I think. There's some fighting, there's Palpatine, there's the million Death Stars. At the end, Rey goes to the the Tatooine and the two suns, and it's like I'm Rey
Oh my god.
Skywalker. And because of course Rey's
Ah!
entire character has now just been defined by other
every time
characters.
every time I hear the words Ray Skywalker, a little piece of my soul dies.
I mean, well, is it better or worse than Rey Palpatine?
It's worse. It's way worse because Ray
Yeah.
is actually stealing the last name of a group of people she barely knew about.
Yeah, like she's acting like this has had a huge impact of her character, and now she's like a devout Jedi, and I don't get it. They just her character was not well done at all. I just don't know what's going
um,
on in that brain of hers if she has one.
I
Like,
remember like the movie. I remember watching a movie theater reaction to Ray Skywalker. Actually, we can do media share, right? I wanna react
mhm.
to that.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we do that? We need to figure it out sooner or later.
Right. Well, you could try
Because,
sending something through the chat or you could share your screen.
okay, so how do I share my screen?
You should see under voice connected, there's a button that says screen and you can click on it to share your screen.
Okay, let me see. Let me see.
It's in like the bottom left
Bottom left?
of Discord.
Oh, okay. Allow Discord to take pictures and record videos while using the app. Yeah. Okay. So that's not what I wanted. Oops. Okay. Hold on. Ah, there we go. There we go. You are sharing your screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it now. Okay, cool.
Okay, good. You see just like the classic YouTube thing, right? I mean, Google thing.
Yeah, Google.
Okay, I just closed the tab. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing
Okay, good.
everything.
Okay, so let's do this. People's movie reaction Ray. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. You get to see the disappointment in live. Yeah, I should probably buy YouTube Premium now that we're doing this. Oh wow, a yellow lightsaber.
There's been no one for so long. Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm right.
Not you. Not you. Oh God. No.
Please don't say it. Please, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Oh.
Where the fuck is Ben?
God.
Ray Skywalker.
Somebody's already leaving.
Look at what Melina's just overreacting. What the Freddy got? That's just pure gold. Pure freaking gold.
I would have reacted that way too if I wasn't in like a vegetative state by the time we got to that scene.
There's also more videos. Let's hope they're not just the same. Okay, audience reaction to Ray Skywalker with an exclamation point. Okay. So, we're just gonna skip to the meat of this video. Okay, we don't care. Ooh, yellow lightsaber. Ugh.
There's been no one.
Okay, so I also just want to point out how in this barren wasteland, this one lady with a weird animal is just there. She's just there.
Yeah, like
for
what is
no
she doing
reason.
there?
I guess she's trying to harvest blue milk from her animal in secret, and then this idiot pops up to bury some weird saber things, I don't know. And then she's just like, "What? Who are you, Ray?"
Let's remember that Ray's experience with Luke was mainly him being like a dick. And then he had one little redemption moment at the end where he fought somebody. And Ray
then all
just
of a
has
sudden,
this huge respect for him.
Yeah, all of a sudden she wants to lick Luke Skywalker's boots.
The whole movie does, to be honest.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about how Luke Skywalker is just suddenly like, "Hey, I'm a good guy now," in Rise of Skywalker. They just completely do another 180 on his character. I don't mind it that much because, well, it's what his character should have been in The Last Jedi, but still. Okay. Playing again. Let's go.
I'm right. Ray who?
This audience is much more quiet than the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's their ghost. Where's Ben? Genuinely good question.
Ray Skywalker.
Oh no, wait, I don't
Ben
think
was
there's...
just as much of a mentor to her as Luke. What about Ray
Hold
Solo?
on. I'm having trouble here. What were you saying?
Like, Ben was just as much of a mentor to Ray as Luke was. They both had a whole movie.
Yeah, and even frickin' Ben had, like, way more character development, way more talking with Ray than frickin' Luke ever did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she pretty much had to spend the whole movie trying to, like, convince Luke.
Yeah.
And then when she wasn't spending time having weird, like, Ray, Kylo visions.
Oh my lord. Also, remember when Kylo Ren had a vision of Han Solo? And, like, Han Solo can't project the Force Ghost because he wasn't a Force user, and they just hand-wave it away by having Kylo say, "You're just a mere memory."
Yeah. Like, dang, he's really
And
going crazy or something.
Yeah, turning to the light side makes you go insane.
Yeah, that's real encouraging.
That's probably why Darth Vader wanted to stay on the Death Star, because he just went absolutely mad, and he was just like, yeah, I want to kill myself now. I guess that's what the light side does to dark side users who turn to the light. Because, like, now, they've turned to the light side, so now the light side is like, okay, now we must dispose of them. Because, again, both Darth Vader and Kylo Ren die shortly after turning to the dark light side again. Coincidence? I think not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, that's kind of a dumb trope where the villain can only redeem themselves by, like, dying or killing themselves, or mainly sacrificing themselves. Because the writers are too lazy to try to figure out how to deal with the character after that point.
Yeah. I mean, they do that in Dragon Ball Z, but the Dragon Ball Z's credits, they just immediately revived that character after he did his sacrifice.
Zuko is a good example of a villain redeemed who wasn't just killed right after he saw the light.
Yeah. And also, it's cool that Azula wasn't killed either, because it's just like, oh, she gets to live in her insanity now.
Yeah, even Ozai wasn't killed. He's in prison.
Yeah, even though he probably should have been killed.
But he never was redeemed, though, so...
Hey, instead of having Aang go against his pacifist ways and kill Ozai in an actually dark scene for a kid's show, let's just have him suddenly learn a new power out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was one thing that was... Especially since the whole... Like, okay, he got his chi powers back from his back hitting a rock, when before, like, we established that he couldn't do that without... Like, he couldn't go into the Avatar state without losing his love for Katara.
Yeah. Some people say that ruins the entire show, which, okay, no, it doesn't.
That's a little overdramatic.
The parts with Iroh taking back Ba Sing Se and Zuko and Azula's Agni Kai were both incredible.
Oh, yeah,
it was
amazing.
just that. Oh, and also Sokka and Toph and Suki all invading, like, the airships. That was also pretty cool.
When he lost his boomerang, genuinely emotional.
And when he lost his space sword.
Yeah.
He literally just got that, like, 10 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Come
that was
on,
kind of sad,
man.
man. He just got his like cool swordsman arc going.
Yeah. And then, like, also that part where Toph literally just straight up turns herself into Iron Man.
Oh, okay, that was awesome. And that was a great show.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And
Now I just remembered that Netflix is gonna make a live action series.
oh god.
What is
And
Netflix doing?
yeah, but yeah, to say that like the entire show is ruined because like the fight between Aang and Ozai had a couple of Deus Ex Machinas in there
It was
is
still an
no.
awesome fight. Like, yes, it could have been done better, but it was not bad by any means.
Yeah. And at the very least, Aang had to actually fight Ozai's spirit to remove his bending. He couldn't just remove his bending. He had to, like, be
Yeah.
pure of heart or something.
Like, sure, there were a lot of contrivances, but even with those, it was still like a struggle for Aang, you know?
Yeah,
The
I
fight was
say
pretty
that because
brutal.
someone on the Stag stream, Setch Dresscar, actually said that it ruined the entire show, which I heavily disagree with. I agree that it was a bit stupid that the show did that, but I disagree that ruined the entire show. Sorry, Setch Dresscar, I'm throwing some shade on you, but
Wow.
like...
Dude, this is our first
like-
episode and you're starting drama. I
Yeah,
can't with you.
but like, I don't mean to be too harsh. Genuinely like you and Stag. Stag streams should just be called Setch, sometimes Cretosis, and then just a random brony just pops up every now and then. That being Pagan. Oh dear God, I'm causing more drama. We've diverted from the Star Wars sequels to Avatar: The Last Airbender to just talking about the Stag streams. Can we get back on topic?
Yeah, to anyone new to us, this is pretty common for us. I'm surprised we stayed on topic for that long, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, that audience reaction to Rey Skywalker is so hilarious. Because, like, that lady that just yells, "Where the fuck is Ben?" She's just so dramatic, and I love it because every ounce of her anger is well earned.
Yeah, for sure.
She just went through watching the entirety of Rise of Skywalker. She's just like, I have to stop now.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much you're either gonna be angry or depressed. I was like just kind of depressed at the end of that. Just like, okay.
Yeah.
It
also-
wasn't as like offensively like, you know, anger inducing as The Last Jedi. It was just like just so
This
bland.
might change
But
you.
especially
This
the
might-
ending though.
This little bit might change your mind. Rey also has BB-8. So that means she stole BB-8 from Poe Dameron, because that's Poe's droid. She just stole Poe's droid.
I completely forgot that BB-8 was originally Poe's droid, right? Was it? I could
Yeah.
have sworn that.
At the start of the first... The whole reason, like the entire plot of The Force Awakens starts, is Poe puts something in BB-8, his droid, and sends him out to get it to someone.
Yeah, I remember now. Man.
And also, let's talk about how BB-8 and Rey's dynamic at like the start of the movie was genuinely kind of interesting.
Yeah, like that was the whole thing that made BB-8 actually pretty cute. I actually like his design.
Yeah. Also, whenever Rey was given like crap loads of food for the droid, and she is about to take it, but then she sees BB-8 and looks into his innocent droid eye, and then she says, "The droid's not for sale."
Oh, see, like that was a good bit of showing off her character, you know?
Another good bit of showing off her character is when two guys actually try to mug her in the middle of the market. Finn tries to help her, but then she just beats up both of them with her staff. It shows that she's capable. it shows that she's capable of fighting for herself, but she's not overpowered like she becomes later in the movie and in the entire trilogy.
Yeah, they really should have kept on that and then had her force stuff like get better with a little time skip of her like having trained with Luke for months or something.
Also, they should have given her a fucking dual lightsaber.
Yeah, okay, that's the
They
thing.
not do that.
She's good with like a staff, and then that never comes up like ever again. Like, why does she get like a normal? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
That's just another example of the few unique things about her character getting wiped out so she can be Luke too.
so obvious. Just give her a dual lightsaber, like a lightsaber staff.
And you could have made it yellow. You could sell more toys.
You can have your cake and eat it too. You can have a yellow lightsaber and a staff lightsaber too. And the crazy thing is, they genuinely had a really cool lightsaber design with with the image of Dark Ray, and they just piss it away for like some cheap trailer bait.
Can you remind me what the lightsaber was like for her like dark version that they?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to imply. Like the lightsaber the dark version of Rey had was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, like what was it like? Cause I think I remember it being cool, but I don't remember. I know it was red.
Yeah, it was like these two lightsabers, and then she could like unfold them, and it'd turn into a big lightsaber staff with two lightsabers with a lightsaber on each end.
See that?
It's kind of like a dual lightsaber, with the larger like grip, so you could use it more like a staff.
Oh, that's that's beautiful. That would have been, if they used a good version of that, that would have been a great way to show her coming into her own as like a Jedi. If she got a cool thing like that.
Yeah, and I only played Jedi Fallen Order for a little bit, but right at the start of the game, they give you a dual lightsaber. Right at the and the dual lightsaber actually has its own unique mechanics. While the single lightsaber is better for like some things, the dual lightsaber is better at other things, but weak at the things the single lightsaber is good at. Oh wow, actually getting the cool lightsabers early on? Nah, we need to wait till the very end of the third and final movie to get even a slightly cool lightsaber.
No, let's just reuse the old lightsabers for nostalgia bait.
Yeah, let's just reuse them. And also, Kylo Ren's lightsaber was actually kind of cool. Like, it's such a simple add-on to like the regular lightsaber, but it genuinely works. It genuinely makes sense why you would have cross guards on your lightsaber.
That was okay. That was a good move. That was actually pretty cool.
And it also makes his lightsaber look more like a medieval sword.
Yeah,
his lightsaber is genuinely cool, and it's genuinely more effective than a regular lightsaber. It's too bad Kylo tossed it into the ocean when he reverted to the good guys.
Yeah, like, just let Rey use it. Like, dang. Like, it's
maybe, just put a different kyber crystal in it.
Yeah, just make it a different color.
Yeah, that's what kyber crystals do. They change up the color of the lightsaber. Fun fact, the kyber crystal is red because a kyber crystal turns red when a dark side user fuses it with the dark side and makes the kyber crystal quote unquote bleed. So yeah, that red lightsaber is the blood of a kyber crystal.
Wow, I did not know any of that.
Yeah, I'm not like a big Star Wars nut, but I know I know more than like the average movie fan.
Remember the freaking midichlorians from the prequels?
Oh God, yeah.
That's
Also,
one bit of world building that just no.
did you know that the Star Wars actually has its own version of Wolverine?
You're kidding.
Hold on, I think his name is Dirge. Oh yeah, Dirge. Dirge is a part of this extremely rare alien species who is just entirely made up out of nerves, I believe. And they're called Jedi, and the Jedi are extremely powerful because since they're made entirely out of nerves, they can shapeshift, they can regenerate real quick. They're just extremely powerful, so it's lucky. So you're lucky that like the Jedi are usually pacifists until they like get really old, and so they get like extreme extreme old man crankiness and just start slaughtering people, which I assume Dirge is because he's a bounty hunter. But yeah, Dirge is a genuinely cool character, and the fact that they didn't add him to the Clone Wars TV series is a crime against mankind. Probably because he'd be way too overpowered.
Yeah. It's
He'd
like
just
it's
be
just
able
cool seeing like all the comics and just other stuff actually like expand on the Star Wars universe and do like new interesting things with it instead of just retreading the same stuff.
Another fun thing they did in like the Clone Wars comics is they actually had while Obi-Wan was fighting some droids, he deflects a blaster bolt into this droid's like head, and instead of killing it, it just fries its circuit cords, and then all of a sudden it gains self-awareness.
Whoa.
And it starts fighting for the good. It starts fighting for the Republic. It starts dual-wielding blasters and killing all of his former comrades. And then when the droids capture him, they're like, we need to wipe his memory. But then he just busts it out and starts swinging around a droid arm like a nunchuck.
That's badass.
Yeah, luckily the Obi-Wan and some clone troopers were able to rescue the battle droid and turn him into like an infiltration unit for the Republic.
Is there any other interesting stuff from the comics you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, there was this one Jedi and like who was like so in tune with like the light side of the Force, she was basically a Force demigod, and she managed to survive for like thousands of years up until the Clone Wars, where and even when she was dying, she was able to like rescue Obi-Wan and save him. And she didn't use a lightsaber. She just hit people. She just was so powerful with the Force. That's all she needed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So she was basically a pure Force wizard, kind of like how the Emperor is in like Return of the Jedi, but you know, benevolent. Let's see. Oh, there's also... Oh, yeah. Also, the Old Republic games also have some pretty cool lore to them. It basically establishes, like, well, the Republic when it was old. Turns out the Republic has always been reliant on the Jedi to do crap for them. No wonder it broke apart. I'm surprised it didn't break apart thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course in the KOTOR games we have the one and only Kreia, probably one of the best characters, or even the best character in Star Wars history.
What's up with her?
Remember, there is so much up with her. Like, oh my god. So, to get you kick-started on how cool Kreia is, her motivation is to kill the Force.
Oh, okay. See, that's super interesting already, I can tell.
Yeah, she wants to kill the Force because she knows it subtly influences people. It influences the Jedi to be good but inept. It influences the Sith to be a self-destructive evil.
Yeah,
And it's
like,
just
the
that
thing about the Force is that it's all about balance, right? It's kind of hard for one side to permanently win because it's the Force, you know? It'll find a way. So, I can
yeah.
actually understand the motivation to just get rid of it entirely.
Yeah, she's just like, the Force causes so much death trying to restore balance over and over again. It has an endless cycle of light side users fighting dark side users, and she wants it, and she also sees all the people who are like dependent on the Force, all the Jedi who basically rely on the Force to even wipe their bums. Same with the Sith too, and she just wants it all gone. She even hates that she uses the Force.
Yeah, she's only using it to take it down, right?
Yeah, she's fighting fire with fire, basically. She's using the Force as like a necessary tool.
Wow.
And also, like, two of her apprentices, Darth Nihilus and I forget the name of the second one. Gosh darn it. The other guy. So, Darth Nihilus, so Kreia, one of the things she teaches is never be fully dependent on the Force, and then her two apprentices betray her because they do the exact opposite of what she said. They completely relied on the Force. Darth Nihilus is just like constantly force draining everything just to stay alive, while the other guy is like his body is completely fractured. He should have been dead a long, long time ago, but he keeps himself up through the will of the Force. So they're both powerful Force users, but they're both reliant on the Force to live. And so they go against Kreia's teachings, and that's why they betray her. Ironically, Darth Treya was also the Sith Lord of the Betrayal, so the betrayer got betrayed. Oh, the irony. But yeah, once that happened, Kreia actually, like, kind of realized how stupid the Force was. And so she actually figured out about this one Jedi who, like, fully cut themselves off from the Force. Like, other Force users cut themselves off, but the Force still lingers around them. But no, this Jedi was able to cut themselves fully off the Force, 100%. The Force doesn't even touch them anymore. They're completely free from its influence. And this is your character in KOTOR 2, the Exile.
Ooh.
And so that's why Kreia mentors you throughout the entire game, because she genuinely loves you, because you're just like, your entire existence is an insult upon the Force. So you either do what she mentors you and teaches you how to be strong, because if she does, she wins no matter what. If you follow her teachings and kill the Force, she wins. But if you don't follow her teachings, kill her, and then keep on living, you keep on living as an insult to the Force, in which case, she also wins.
That's great.
Yeah. Some of the greatest villains in fiction are the villains that win.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I love it when
And
villains
also-
be putting the chess pieces in place, and it's like, no matter what you do, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, that's
Just
Kreia,
thinking
but
5 steps ahead.
and it's even more 5D chess when your villain plan involves helping the hero.
Yeah, that's always really interesting.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane just how like amazing Kreia's plan is.
Just hearing you describe it was way more entertaining than watching The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Same
and
thing with
also
Finn.
there's this other scene where like you gather up the last of the Jedi Masters, and they're just like, we cut you off from the Force because the Force is. You seem to have a bad connection with the Force, because you're the exile, and they're scared of that. So they try and cut you off from the Force, but then Kreia steps in, Force pushes them all away, and gives a huge speech about how they're all enormous hypocrites. And then she cuts off all 3 of them from the Force, and because they were so reliant upon the Force, they died.
Oh, that's like perfect irony.
Yeah. She just freaking curb stomped all these Jedi Masters to protect you. Kreia's great. She is just an incredible character of fiction, and she may not be perfect. Like, hell, I'm pretty sure the perfect fiction character doesn't exist, but like she is up there.
Mhm. Yeah, just the premise alone is interesting, which says a
Yeah,
lot.
she wants to kill the Force. That's really cool. And it's especially interesting because, especially compared to KOTOR 1's mentor, Bastila is a Jedi who always talks about, we need to fight evil and do the right thing. And then when eventually she gets turned to the dark side, she's just like, I'm evil now. You cannot turn me back to the good side. And then you turn her back to the good side. It is very obvious which direction KOTOR 1 wanted you to go. Like, technically you could do the dark side, but like it is so clearly, blatantly obvious they wanted you to do the light side. Which is why KOTOR 2 is the better game, in my opinion, even though I haven't played either of them. Because, it doesn't really sway you in one direction or the other. Kreia is like the true definition of true neutral.
Mhm. Yeah. She's not really like good or evil, dark side or bad side. She just wants to get rid of the Force.
Yeah. She's been a Jedi and she's been a Sith Master, and she realized that both sides suck. It's just like that brainwave chart where like at the start of the chart you're just like, Herder Jedi are the best, and then at the middle you're just like, no, Sith are awesome, they're so edgy and cool, and they've got red lightsabers and all of them are named Darth, they're really cool. And like at the end of the wave it's just like, actually both sides suck.
Mhm.
So yeah, oh my god, we just went on a huge diatribe about how much I like KOTOR 2, despite the fact I've never played the game.
Hey, at least this time it was Star Wars related when we went off topic, eh?
Yeah, once again,
we can
I
only
have
rag
learned...
on the trilogy so much,
Okay, let's take a break from ragging on the trilogy, because I actually watched a movie recently, as I talked to you about earlier.
Yeah, today,
My family yeah, my family dragged me over as soon as I was done with work to watch a movie. So that was fun.
Well, what was it?
And it was The Northmen.
I'd never heard of that.
There were a couple of YouTube ads about it. But basically, the Northmen take Hamlet and make it Vikings. That's the Northmen. That's the Northmen in a nutshell.
Oh, was it good?
It was actually pretty good. It was basically just Hamlet, but with Viking culture.
Yeah, I mean,
And it was like,
The Lion King was just Hamlet, but with lions, so.
yeah, and it held back no punches in terms of its R rating. Like, you get to see a lot of gore and stuff, and you get to see, and a lot of people are naked, but like they try to they hide the body parts. They hide like the genitals most of the time, but occasionally you do get to see a butt or a side boob. Because, you know, the Vikings the Vikings did really like their nudity back then. Like, at the end of the movie, it has both the main character and the person he's been trying to kill throughout the entire movie fighting naked with swords and shields in the middle of a volcano.
I
Like,
love that.
They shouldn't be able to do that because volcanoes are so hot. Lava is so hot, it will kill you even if you get near it. But, like, I don't care. I'm just absolutely loving this scene.
Yeah, that's the most, like, over-the-top badass thing I could think of.
Yeah. So, basically, how the story goes is that the main character is this little kid at first, and he's like with his father, who's like the clan lord and the queen. Oh, and also there's a court jester. And guess who plays the court jester in this movie?
Who?
Willem freaking Dafoe.
Oh my god.
Willem Dafoe, the Green Goblin.
That's great.
Yeah.
I can see that role fitting him.
At first, I wasn't too interested in the movie, but then as soon as Willem Dafoe popped up on screen, I was like, okay, now you have my attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great.
And so, and the best part is he pops up with a dick joke.
That's how he's introduced.
Yeah. So, okay, so the father and the son do like this thing where like they pretend to be wolves or something, and they're like, when your father dies, you must avenge him. And then he's like, yes, I will. And as soon as they leave that place, his father immediately gets killed.
Of course.
Like, they're not slouching around. They just want to speed up this first act so that we can get to the good stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're not.
So,
I feel like they're not taking themselves too seriously, though I haven't seen it or anything.
So then, like, the king's brother kills him and chops off his head, which, like, he has to cut at the neck several times in order to actually fully decapitate him, which is actually pretty realistic to what actual decapitation is like.
Yeah, it would take
Most
a
of
lot
the
to
time.
do it in one swing. Unless you have,
Yeah.
like, a guillotine or something. But by
And even
hand, that's
then-
pretty tough.
And even then, the guillotine sometimes needed to do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, so then they have, like, the village of the king being sacked, and, like, the little kid is like about to be killed by this one guy, but then he like cuts off the tip of his nose with his knife and then runs off, gets in a boat, and then he's just like, I will avenge you, father. I will rescue you, mother. I will kill you. I will kill you, my uncle. And I was just repeating that to himself as he swims away, as he like rows away in the little rowboat. And then we cut to like many years later when he's a fully grown adult. He's like with this Viking clan who are also pretending to be wolves. You will find this to be a very big theme. The main character is a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes in. We have like this obligatory action scene where we see just how cool our main character is as he goes in and slaughters a bunch of soldiers, and the last guy, he even chops down with his axe while the guy was riding a horse, but no, that's not good enough. Then he gets down and rips out his neck with his teeth.
Damn.
Again, our character is a wolf.
They're not pulling any punches, huh?
Yeah. So then, like I said, this movie is rated R for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So then he figures out where his uncle is, so he disguises himself as a slave and gets on this boat. Which, like, I felt it was not that good. I felt it was not that good because it was just so sudden, but then I realized we're getting in the character's head. The character is so dead set on revenge that giving up his whole life of raiding and pillaging with his bros is just like an instant thing for him, because he's just like mechanically programmed to like seek revenge on the person who killed his father.
Does that end up working out for him, or is this like a revenge is bad story?
A little bit of both, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain it in a bit. So anyways, he gets in a boat, and this lady is just like making chants, and she has white hair, so guess who the character's love interest is gonna be?
Oh, her.
Yeah. So then she's like, I know you're a Northman, and he's like, I'm doing this so I can kill the guy who's taking you slaves. And then that's when she starts getting into him, because like, ooh, he wants to free me from slavery by killing my master. That's kind of hot. Which, to be honest, yeah, that is a good way to start a relationship, by literally freeing someone from slavery. And so then the two like get on the island, and then they get bought by like the guy. And then as he's like seeing all the guys, our main character like growls like a bear to get his attention, and he's like, "Ooh, what's your name?" And he called himself Beowulf, and he's like, he's good. He's strong by his name. And then he's just like, you. I hope you're like a bear and you're strong, and you're not like a wolf who will deceive me. Foreshadowing, ooh.
Uh-huh.
So then he goes out. There's also a bunch of trippy scenes in this movie. Did I mention?
No,
Like,
what do you mean?
You've got some Nordic magic witchcraft going on here. Like, the guy gets a dream about remembering to hunt down his uncle by a witch, and then...
Oh, I didn't know there was magic in this movie.
There is magic, but it's like that old story magic.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, everything has, like, a set amount of rules and stuff. Speaking of which, so he goes to this seer who has the head of the court jester from before. He has the head because after, like, the uncle took over, he hates court jesters, which is established early in the movie when he immediately got mad at the Willem Dafoe jester for making a joke. So then he cut off the tongue and gouged out the eyes of the Willem Dafoe jester before killing him and chopping off his head. But this guy has his head, so he uses the head to have him tell him where this legendary sword is, and then the guy goes down there and he has to fight a Draugr to get the sword. And the sword has a cool mechanic. It's extremely powerful and deadly, but you can only unsheath it at night. If it's day, you can't unsheath
Oh,
it.
it just like won't come out of the sheath.
Yeah.
That's really
And
interesting.
there's actually, yeah, the story actually does some pretty cool stuff with that thing. So like, we see him take out the sword, but then put it back, and then we hear a rooster crow. He tries to pull out the sword again, but then it just doesn't unsheath. So yeah, it's actually real. The thing is actually real. This item is just a magical artifact. So then, like, the guy and the lady team up together. Turns out the lady's like a druid who can use some nature magic to screw with the guy. And while the Northman of our story goes around and starts killing people around the camp little bit by bit. And I actually like this because it's kind of like a horror movie, but through the perspective of the killer.
Oh yeah.
Because we get to like see him take out his revenge, and we also get to see like the guy's reaction to said revenge. Like first he just kills a couple of slaves and hangs them on a house. Then he like
Yeah.
has a
He keeps sending messages and stuff.
yeah, like then the lady like sends out a spell to make it so that every single animal around the place goes rabid and starts attacking anyone nearby. So like the guy has to kill his own dog because it just goes
Wow,
crazy.
he's not simply killing this guy. He's making the revenge all nice and slow, you know?
Yeah, it's a slow burn and it works. And at first it was just like, my God, when is he going to start killing people? But as soon as he starts killing people, it goes like, oh yeah, this is a slow burn, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then like he keeps on doing this. The lady and the guy team up together. She uses like some weird magic to make everyone go crazy, and he uses the distraction to like sneak away and kill someone. And then eventually he finds his mother, and this is an actually interesting scene of the movie. He tells his mother, I'm going to avenge father, mother, and then she's just like, I never liked your father. I actually like your uncle more.
Ooh.
And it's just like, oh crap. And then she actually sews like a slave frickin' brand on her chest, just like he got near the start of the movie, so that he could disguise himself as a slave.
Uh-huh.
And then she says, I didn't start that, I didn't, so yeah, she basically admits that, yeah, before I was your father's wife, I was your father's slave.
Dang.
Yeah, and he only picked her out because she had a pretty face or something. So it goes on to say that like the guy taking revenge here and the guy he's taking revenge for were not were not entirely good people.
Yeah. So that's a good twist. It's not like, oh, great good guy was killed by this bad guy. It's like, yeah, everybody's pretty fucked up in this movie.
Yeah, so the Northman, even though his mother's basically like a completely different character right in front of him, he still can't bear killing her, so he just goes around and kills like the oldest son of the uncle. And then he's just like, I'll find whoever did this, and she's just like, it's the father's son. The father you killed. You must find the father's son among your slave ranks and kill him. And it also shows that the guy who killed the father isn't a good person either, because he like rounds up all his slaves and slits like the first one's throat, and he's just like, I don't care if that person conspired to kill my son or not.
Wow. Yeah, he's just angry at that point.
Yeah. And so then he's like about to kill like the lady the guy's been working with, but then the guy pops up and says, "Hey, I am here to take my revenge," and he starts beating up all the guys with his sword, but because it's day, he can't get the sword out of the sheath, so he uses it like a club.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he mainly just uses it as a distraction to let the lady run away and be free. And then he like gets captured by the guys, but he doesn't immediately kill him because the Northmen, when he killed the oldest son, actually took his heart. So now the uncle is like, "Where's my son's heart?" So now he's got some leverage over him because like he wants his son's heart.
Mhm.
And
Well,
he doesn't
where
tell
did he
him.
put it?
The movie never shows, actually.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, they leave him to, like, rot, and one guy has his sword, and he tries to use it. He tries to unsheath it, but because it's day, he can't. So he just throws it away in a corner of the room he's in, like it's garbage, allowing him to take it back when he eventually gets rescued.
At
And
nighttime.
he does get rescued because these ravens pop up and pick away at like the ropes that were holding him up. So he's able to run away.
That's
And
a
when
little
the guy,
convenient.
again, magic, Odin is
right.
with him.
Yeah.
And Odin is like represented by ravens, so this actually does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Odin will actually be with him in another way later on, near the end of the movie, which is actually a really cool moment. So then, like, the ravens free him from his bindings, and then the uncle is like doing this death ceremony for his son, and then he's like, "Let's kill the killer." He walks in and he finds just a bunch of crows that just caw at him and fly away.
Oh,
And so
that's
we
cool.
cut to the lady like healing his wounds, putting him into this nice hot spring, and then just having fun with each other. And then they're just like, "Okay, let us go now." And they actually go on a ship. But as he's hugging her, he gets a vision that she's pregnant with twins. And he's
Whoa.
like, "My bloodline will continue. Yes, you will bear 2 great king children." And then he figures out she was descended from like a king's line, and he realizes, oh crap, if he figures this out, he's probably going to try and find and kill you. But at this point, it's good to know that at this point, he's basically already won. He made the uncle kill his own dog, and he killed the uncle's oldest son. He basically got his revenge.
Yeah, the uncle is like probably super messed up at this point, right?
Yeah, but he's like, "I need to finish it." And then the lady's like, "No, please stay." But he's like, "No, I must go." And then he like jumps off the ship and starts swimming back.
Dang.
And then the lady accepting that he's going back to get his revenge, she's just like, she basically chants a spell to make like the winds blow more on the sails so that the boat goes by faster, so that she can be safe. Mm-hmm. And she can raise their children in safety. So then he goes back to the village, he goes back to the place and starts killing all the men, freeing all the slaves, and he actually goes back to the guy who he chopped off the tip of the nose of, and he's like, "When he was a cub, he took a piece of your nose. Now, as a fully grown wolf, he's come back for the rest." And then he slides his sword through his nose and skull.
Dang.
And then, like, he goes into like the uncle's hut, but he doesn't find anyone. But then the mother pops out and tries to kill him with her sword, but then he kills her. And then the little kid, the youngest son of the uncle, who's a little kid at this point, goes like mommy and starts stabbing the guy with a tiny knife. So then he slashes his belly too. Again, no heroes here. Everyone's a bit screwed up.
Even the kids.
Like, our character just murdered a kid. I mean, yeah, the kid was stabbing him, but still.
Yeah.
And then, like, the uncle just walks in, and you see, and it's like, it looks like they're about to fight right then and there, but then he just looks at his wife, looks at his son, grabs his son's body, grabs his wife's body, and says, "We will meet at the gates of hell."
Ooh, I'm guessing that's
And then
the
walks
volcano.
away. Yeah, and at the climax, yeah, he goes to the volcano, and then he gets the sword, and he unsheaths it, even though it's day.
What? Well, what's the explanation for that?
Because Odin is now allowing him to use the sword on day to fulfill his revenge quest. So now, then you have that huge climax where they fight between swords and shields, and like, the Northman, our main character, gets very injured, and like, the uncle is about to kill him, but like, and it looks like he's about to die, but then he just yells and gets back up, and they keep on fighting, and then at the final moment, he chops off the uncle's head, and then the uncle falls down, but we can see that he was stabbed through the chest at the same time.
By
And
who?
so as he lays, the uncle,
Oh, so they
the
both
last
killed
thing
each other.
yeah, but as the Northman is starting to die from his wounds, we get a vision of like a Valkyrie on a horse going down to him and grabbing his body to take up to the halls of Valhalla, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty trippy movie, but was pretty good. It was like an old-timey Nordic myth tale.
Yeah, like kind of like dumb fun, basically.
Yeah.
Though obviously
did
it had some
explore-
dramatic elements.
Yeah, it did explore some Nordic mythology pretty well, and also it made the Vikings look realistic, like what they actually were like, just savages who were like naked or like mostly naked a lot, even when fighting, and they also like took women and killed men. So yeah, pretty realistic. Pretty good movie overall. I give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I did not expect
Did your family like it too?
Yeah, they liked it. I expected just a schlock medieval action movie. I did not expect this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Wow, we got way off topic.
Yeah.
I just explained the entire plot of a completely different movie. What is wrong with me? The answer is everything. Everything's wrong with me. Cheers. We'll all go insane together.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so... And also, that reminds me of, like, The Last of Us Part 2, because everyone keeps on saying that The Last of Us Part 2 is, like, almost about twice the length as the first game, and all it says is, like, revenge is bad and it will hurt those around you, and it jams into your head repeatedly. At least that's what I've heard many people say, and that's one of the main problems of The Last of Us 2. But, like, you can get that same theme from the Northmen,
Yeah.
with
And
only
that's
2 hours and 20 minutes.
yeah. It's like if you're gonna have a really long thing, then it might be better to explore multiple themes and multiple ideas. Otherwise, you just need
Yeah.
to cut it down and just say what you need to say.
Also, if you want people to sympathize with a character, don't have said character kill off a beloved character from the previous game 2 hours into the
Yeah.
game.
Like, I feel like you could pull that off, having a villain character as the one you play. And, maybe as you get to know them better, it makes more sense. But that's very difficult to achieve.
And also, like, they completely ruined it with, like, Abby killing Joel right at the start.
Yeah. It might have been a better twist to have you get to know this character and then, like, she kills Joel. Because then it's like,
Or maybe,
whoa.
like,
Like, maybe like a third of the way through or a fourth of the way through. Or even halfway through. I don't know.
I actually saw this recommendation from, like, Bricky, who said, yeah, so, how you want to do The Last of Us Part 2 is you actually want to split into 2 games. The first game, the new Last of Us Part 2, would just be Abby's backstory and all that stuff. And then it would end with Joel's death. And in The Last of Us Part 3, it would be Ellie's revenge quest. That would be way better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, The Last of Us 2 does have some good story beats here and there. Like, Abby rescuing two little kids who are raised up in a cult is genuinely wholesome. It kind of reminds me of, like, Joel and Ellie from the first game. Like,
Yeah.
an echo. And in fact, at the end of The Last of Us 2, when Abby and Ellie fight each other, like, Abby doesn't want to fight, she just wants to go away. But then Ellie, like, threatens to kill the Scar kid she has, and she's like, fine, I'll do it. So that she can make sure this kid lives. And also, they had a really poignant message at the end of the game where, like, during the fight between Abby and Ellie, Abby actually bites off 2 of Ellie's fingers.
Whoa.
And then when Ellie decides to let her live, Ellie goes back and plays the guitar, but she can't anymore because she's lost 2 of her fingers. And she can't play it nearly as well as she did before. And then she just sets down the guitar, walks away, and the game ends.
Okay, that's actually kind of a good ending.
Yeah. Like, the ending of the game is actually kind of good because it's just like, you know, it just, like, has a lot of cool moments to it, but, like, it would have been better if we didn't have the same theme drilled into our heads for the rest of the 19 hours. Another cool moment is while Ellie's about to drown Abby to death, she gets, like, a vision from her past. She gets a flashback where she's, like, talking to Joel, and they're talking about how Joel killed all the Fireflies at the end of the first game. And he's like, if I could redo that, I would have done all of that again just for you. And then Ellie's just like, I can't forgive you after what you've done, but I'd like to try to. And then he's like, I'd like that too.
Yeah.
And
It seems like one of the biggest flaws is, like, I've heard that there's just a lot of, like, filler and just, like, dragging along.
yeah,
They
for
really just
2
needed
hours,
to cut out, like, a lot and
for
just tighten
2
things
hours,
up.
for 2 hours, Abney is trying to fix this one kid's arm, and it doesn't even matter because like half an hour after she fixes it, that character dies.
That's way too slow. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just yuck. Like, again, I can see good story beats in The Last of Us Part 2, but they're just so ruined by all the stupid shit.
It's just got stretched too thin by like them basically like they wrote out like a decent story and then they're like,
Yeah.
okay, how can we increase the playtime of this? Let's just add, okay, we gotta fix this and do this thing.
Yeah. I think Bricky put it best when he said The Last of Us 2 is like a huge basket of apples. There's like a lot of really good apples, but then you just have a few really, really bad ones that just ruin the entire basket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a perfect example of The Last of Us Part 2, because there are genuinely good story beats. I remember a lot of people talking about how much they liked Jesse, a character that popped up in the second game, but he was just killed off, right? He was just killed off out of nowhere.
That's the most infuriating kind of like piece of media is when it's like, oh, it's so good, but there are just a couple of flaws. It's like just it could be so easily fixed.
Yeah. It's also obnoxious where like they just randomly kill off a character out of nowhere and they're just like, oh, it's smart because it's like real life, man.
It's just like in real life, a character can get killed with no foreshadowing. Because clearly, real life makes for good stories.
How Jesse dies is so ridiculous because Ellie and Jesse hear some commotion going on in the next room, and it's like Abby fighting Tommy, but they don't know that yet. And the two of them, wondering what was going on, burst through the room, and as they do, Abby just shoots Jesse in the head, square off. And then as Abby's hiding in cover, she goes like, Jesse, and you see Jesse's like brains blown out. And he's just instantly dead right there. No final words, no like dramatic last moments. No, it's just death.
Like, yeah, it's realistic, but I mean, that's not why we're playing a zombie game, right?
Yeah, in The Last of Us Part 1, like, you had all these character deaths, but they were extremely dramatic. Like, a good example would be the first character death in The Last of Us 1 with, like, Joel's actual daughter. During, like, when the infection is, like, actually starting around the world, Joel is, like, carrying his daughter in his arms, but then, like, they come across this guard, and the guard is ordered to shoot to kill anyone to like contain the threat. And then as he's shooting, Joel falls down into some bushes. He's not shot, but his daughter is, and she's just like holding on to the wound, and he's like, don't worry, baby, you'll be okay, you'll be fine. And then as he's talking, she's dead.
Yeah, I actually saw that scene. That was pretty rough. It's like, we just met this guy, and it's already like, dang.
Yeah, and we didn't even know that much about the daughter, but the fact Joy is just so torn up by it is just so good.
It's good writing.
And the fact that like it keeps on. It's like a thing later on in the game where he starts like treating Ellie as a daughter in the game too is just so good. It's kind of like in the Northmen too, because like if the father died right at the start, his death shouldn't mean much because we barely got to know his character. But the fact that his son took it so much that he went on this full-on revenge quest that goes on throughout the entire movie tells you something.
Yeah, you learn just how close their bond was without ever it being directly shown.
Yeah, and also that moment where the mother like reveals she was a slave to his father before she became his wife. That was also pretty good, showing his character.
Mm-hmm.
Showing that he wasn't completely
He
good.
wasn't really like a saint either.
Mm-hmm. It's just It's just, yeah, Joel's death. Joel having like this girl die is like having like his daughter die right at the start is so tragic. And you've got Joel's death in The Last of Us Part 2, and it's just, yeah, that one's also drawn out, but like, really? It's just like, so Joel just finished up like shooting some zombies at these guys, and Joel in the first game was like extremely paranoid. He wouldn't like give out any information to someone because he was always worried about something, about other people's motivations and stuff. And what does Joel do when they first find somewhere safe? Hi, my name is Joel. This is Ellie over there. I've also got a brother called Tommy back at town.
Wow.
He just immediately breaks character so that they can start the death scene right away.
Jeez.
Because these guys are looking for Joel specifically.
Yeah, why would he introduce himself?
Yeah, I mean, like, these strangers helped save his life, but Joel is still like a paranoid character, and yet he just goes, "Hi everyone, my name is Joel. Here's my date of birth, my credit card number, and my social security number." So of course they blast off his leg with a shotgun, and then they start beating him down.
Oh.
And then
Dang,
like
he had
Abby
a
beats
painful
him.
death. That sucks.
Yeah. Abby beat him to, they shot him with a shotgun, they brought him down to a basement where they beat him to death by beating him in the head with a 9-inch iron. While Ellie just watches. And then, like, yeah, that's a dramatic scene, but now you just doomed Ellie's character, no matter what she does after this.
Okay, like, I know I had heard that she had, like, killed him. I didn't know that the death was that brutal. Like, that's really hard to empathize with
Did I
her
mention
character.
she went on an entire revenge quest just to kill him?
Yeah, wait, but I thought the death was at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it is.
So,
You don't
so you don't play the revenge quest?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think you do. She just goes on like this huge revenge quest that takes days.
If her whole character is like getting revenge, what does she do after that point?
I don't know, protect some kids.
Because like that's the whole game is what happens after, right?
Yeah, Ellie tries to get her revenge.
Oh.
That's part of the game.
Yeah.
And then also Abby's backstory and what happens with Abby after, where she like does some missions for her guys, but then she starts bonding with these kids that were in a cult and starts protecting them. And she even goes against her own organization to like protect these two kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry, like there's no way. Just from that's not enough to like make her an empathetic character. Like you should have shown her like helping out these kids
at the beginning. Then shown her kill Joel.
Yeah, like imagine you start out with this character and it's like, you know, it's really nice you're playing her on her revenge quest, but you don't know who she's gonna get revenge against. And then it like leads up to that moment or something. And then it's like big shock. And then it's like, oh dang, you as the player helped that happen. You caused that. Like that's like, wow.
Also.
And then at that point it changes characters because we know we're not going to empathize with Abby anymore.
And but also, it explains that like right after, long after she's killed Joel, in like a flashback, it explains that Abby is actually trying to kill Joel because one of the surgeons that was trying to perform the surgery on Ellie to like get the fungus out of her brain so that they can make a vaccine but she'll die was killed by Joel. He was one of the casualties of that. And that's why she's out to get revenge.
We're supposed to empathize with this character, and we only get told way later why she even did it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's just so bad.
It's like the elements of a good story are here, but it's all scrambled and out of order. What's going on?
Oh, and in case her character wasn't bad enough, she actually, gets ready to kill this character who, Ellie's in love with. And then, Ellie's like, no, wait, she's pregnant. And then Abby just goes, good.
Oh.
And then is about to kill her.
What the heck? Oh my gosh.
And Ellie actually does kill a pregnant character in this game, but at least she only figures out she's pregnant after she's killed her. And then she has a mental breakdown over it.
Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, she's just like, oh good, double kill.
Yeah, he's just like, sweet, a double kill. Kill two birds with one stone, let's go, baby. And the only reason she doesn't do it is because one of the kids she's been protecting just runs in out of nowhere and goes, Abby! And then he just stares at her and she's just like, fine, I won't kill this girl.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it's just, ugh. Also, I don't have a problem with the fact that, Abby's arms are huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I heard about that stupid controversy. Come on, people.
Come on, people.
She's
Women
not
can
even
build
that
muscle
buff.
mass, too.
There are some crazy, woman bodybuilders out there. You can get crazy results without even taking hormones.
Yeah. Women can have muscle mass, too. It's not that outrageous.
Yeah, it takes a little extra effort to get it, but it's not, you can still get it. It's not that hard. And even if it wasn't, Joel is in his 50s and he's still killing tons of people half his age. Realism is out the window at that point. It's a fictional world, guys. Calm down. But women strong? No, we can't.
If you're going,
there's so many better things to criticize about the game.
There's so many better things to crap on about Abby. Her arms are not one of them.
If anything, that's one of the pluses.
Yeah.
We need more buff characters like that.
Yeah. Also, it helps make sense why she was able to cave Joel's skull in with a 9-inch iron.
Yeah.
And speaking of characters like that, they did have actual weightlifter as one of the heroes in Overwatch, Zarya. Yeah, and her whole thing was carrying a really big, powerful gun. So yeah, that was neat. Okay. So, too bad Overwatch is now just in perpetual limbo because they're still waiting for Overwatch 2 to come out.
I don't know. I don't really have high hopes for Overwatch 2 at this point. I think I'm just done with Overwatch in general.
Well, I heard they're changing it from 6v6 to 5v5. 2 healers, 2 damage, and 1 tank. So that, the game... That's
probably a good idea, actually.
So that the games don't slow down to a crawl. Because, the tanks just keep on, tanking everything.
Yeah.
and the healers just keep on healing everything. I mean, the healers will still heal, but like they're easy to take out if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like
Tanks
not
are
very
not.
strong.
Yeah, tanks are not. They have crowd control. They're, well, tanky, obviously. They can be very aggressive, and of course, if they're lucky, they'll have a healer nearby them. They'll just piss away all the progress you did to their health bar. In Moira's case, literally. Because her healing looks like piss. Yeah, we just went from Star Wars to frickin' Northmen to Last of Us Part 2 to Overwatch. What are we even doing?
At least we didn't talk about Skyrim again.
Oh no. Oh
All
no.
roads
Oh,
lead to
no.
Skyrim. And don't start, okay?
I mean, hey, my profile picture is literally just an Argonian.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You should expect Skyrim rants. Like, Skyrim is such a bizarre game.
Oh, here we go. Somehow
like
I
The
knew
Last
this was
of
gonna
Us.
happen.
It's like The Last of Us 2. It gets so many things wrong.
It's like you
but
could
it gets,
have, yeah, it's so weird because you could have a 2-hour essay like explaining everything that Skyrim did wrong, and like there's just like gonna be a ton of different points you could touch on, and then you could do the same thing for why Skyrim is a masterpiece. It's so weird how some elements are like super fleshed out and others aren't. It's just crazy.
I wouldn't say masterpiece, but I would say why it's good.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you say why it's good, and if you only talked about the good parts, then you could make the case for why it's like a masterpiece. And then the same thing for why it's like a trash fire.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons it's good is just charm. I mean, yeah, the bugs can be annoying, but they can also be pretty funny. Like, I remember this one time where, like, a guy was talking to a deer, and then the deer just disappeared out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, or that bug that my dad got where his dead follower showed up at his wedding naked because he had taken the armor off of him. So just it's like hey, even in death, this guy, he pulled through. He showed up at the wedding.
I mean, he was the best man. He had to pop up. Yeah, and also that classic glitch of when the giants like slam you down, you just go skyward.
When Bethesda patched that one, they had to unpatch it.
Because it was just so damn popular. My lord, yeah. Skyrim is true, but then again, you remember just how bare bones the combat system is. Oh, they added blocking and a block and a bash with your shield or your weapon if you're blocking with your weapon. Whoa, so innovative.
Skyrim. Right trigger, right trigger, right trigger. Wait, go into my inventory, eat cheese wheels. Right trigger, right trigger. Except if for fun, like I tried to do a dual wielding build with 2 swords, but it was so insanely boring. I had to put a shield back because at least then you can do a little bit of variety. You can block, you can shield bash. That's the bare minimum of combat for me. You're gonna need like magic or a shield or something.
But like magic is if you're just using destruction, it's just, oh wow, I can do extra damage from a range. So it's basically just like a range sword attack. Wow.
Yeah, instead of just pressing right trigger, you just hold both triggers and go fire or lightning.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
It's too bad destruction's a terrible skill in Skyrim. Because, like, for some ungodly reason, destruction spell damage does not scale with your skill level. You have to get perks to increase the damage. And even then, the perks only increase it by 50% at most. It is so dumb. It is so stupid. I mean, illusion is really fun to use. It's really fun to make people go crazy all the time. Alteration can be kind of fun. I mean, it's mostly just like the mage armor perk tree, but as soon as you get to like expert alteration, you can use paralyze, which is fun. And there's also like restoration is very powerful, but also very boring. Restoration is easily one of the worst things about Skyrim because like one of the things that can make a game good is scarcity of resources, like, and Skyrim does this
That's how
so
you get
poorly.
like oh yeah, especially with the like near infinite storage. But then again, I always get the Steed Stone because it's like I want all the stuff. Okay.
For me, I always get the Lover Stone because 15% increase to all experience. I don't have to grind as much. Yes, please.
Well, that's because you're always making builds. I'm more of a hoarder. It's like it's not that hard to get strong. You don't really need to grind.
Yeah. It's too bad you can only increase your carry weight in the game by upgrading stamina, the most useless stat in the game.
Wait, stamina increases carry weight?
Yes, by 5 points every level
Oh,
up.
no wonder I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's not very comparable. In Morrowind and Oblivion, there was actually a stat for carry weight and weapon damage called Strength. Wow, wouldn't you know? So that you wouldn't have to invest in a completely garbage, worthless stat to increase your carry weight.
But yeah, the fact that you just have the restoration spell like by default, so like as any character, you can just like quickly switch to magic, use up your tiny little mana pool and get a good amount of healing and then just go back to shield bashing or swinging your axe or whatever. It's like
Not just that.
like there's really one of the main things about Skyrim is there's no builds, you know? It's like if you want to fight a dragon, you have to use a bow and arrow or magic or probably both. If you want to open this chest, you have to lockpick it. You can't like break open the chest or use magic. It's like you're really just an all-in-one wish fulfillment fantasy, not really like a character, you know?
Skyrim, the game where you can do whatever you want, but not really.
Yeah.
And
like it's
also,
really you can tell it's designed that you're supposed to be doing like all this stuff, the Thieves Guild, the Brotherhood, and all in like one save too. Which I do appreciate that type of gameplay, but it's not like the best for an RPG, I guess, or role playing.
yeah, it's not best for a role-playing game.
It's
And medicine, you forgot. You don't just have to use a ranged weapon for a dragon. You can use Dragon Rend, which you can get by going through the extremely crappy main quest line. And even when you actually do get it, it's extremely inconsistent.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, at least Dragon Rend has like a very short cooldown, so you can just spam it.
Why would you? I feel like I would just avoid all dragons after the main storyline. They're already annoying enough as it is.
You can't. You can't
just run
every
from
single.
them, though? That's what I do sometimes.
Because they can fly, remember?
Oh, right. That's why they're so annoying. Every freaking 30 minutes. Like, I used to, like, go through all my quests and, like, desperately try to find one that wasn't far away. That there was, like, a fast travel point that was close to it. Because I did not want to trek all the way across the map. Especially when you're on a horse and you don't want your horse to, like, attack the dragon or get itself killed. So it's like, okay, a dragon, so let me go park my horse at a reasonable distance that it won't try to attack the dragon, but not so far away that I forget where it is. and then now let me fight this guy. It's just the whole thing.
Dear God.
I can't
What
tell
were
if
they
it's
thinking
worse
when they
when
made...
it's by itself or when it's like attacking like a village. Cause on the one hand, it's nice to have an endless supply of guards to just help you fight, and plus you can loot the guards' bodies. On the other hand, I don't need homeless Joe and every single villager running out with their knife, getting themselves killed because they see a dragon.
Like your random beggar Joe pulls out his weak-ass tiny little dagger and goes, yeah, let's go, let's ruffle
Or
and
God
tussle,
forbid his
boy.
fists.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, let's punch this giant lizard thing to death. Oh my God, it's just so bad. And also, God forbid, there's a merchant that you can buy and sell things from that actually ends up in the fray and ends up killed, because now there goes like a
There's a
huge amount
reason
of your income.
I try really hard to not get anyone killed when I play. I'm such a goody two shoes because it's like, I'm a completionist. I don't want any quests missing. I don't want any merchants missing.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of a story where like I went into the Blue Palace in like my vanilla Skyrim playthrough to get all the achievements, and like this guy walked up here, and I was just like, I'm so sick and tired of this guy walking up here. Every single time I want to buy spells from the mage here, but then I have to wait for this guy to speak. So then I just quick save, and I proceed to sneak kill him, and I was about to quick load, but then I realized that, wait a second, I didn't gain a bounty, and nobody seems to notice that he just died mid-sentence. Oh my God! Everyone's just accepted his death out of nowhere. And I was just like, maybe I should still quick load, but then I realized, actually, you know what? Wait, this NPC is useless after this engagement. So you know what? And I never quick loaded. I just kept that save
Wait, did
there.
all the
and
NPCs still keep waiting for him to stop talking, even though he's like
No.
dead? Oh. So you did at least speed the process along.
Yeah. And
isn't his body still in the palace?
Yes, his body is still in the palace. It has not been
It's gotta be smelling at this point. Oh God.
Gee, the Blue Palace suddenly has a very bad smell. What could it be? God, Skyrim is such a bad game, but that's what makes it so good.
I know. It's like, I love it, and that's why I trash on it.
I love it, and I hate it simultaneously.
It's like a toxic relationship.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, Fallout New Vegas is like this full 5-course meal that you feel extremely satisfied by when you're done, and then Skyrim's just a bag of cocaine.
Yeah.
It's going to be more fun than like the 5-course meal, but you're going to feel empty after it's done.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's nice to just have some like simple fun. Like, it's not as dumbed down as like a Ubisoft game, but it's still like,
oh yeah,
you don't have to use like your brain
muscles.
I
remember trying to play Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh
and I just
my gosh,
not.
Really?
Yeah, not the Breakpoint one. The Breakpoint one is even worse somehow. But Ghost Recon Wildlands is just like, go to this place and shoot these guys, or use your drone for something. The game. That's it. That's just it. And I'm just like, oh my God, can I have a mission where it's not just shoot some guys or use your drone, please, for the love of God?
Yeah, Ubisoft will make like some decent stuff, and then they'll copy paste it 50 times all across the map.
Yeah. And then there's also... Oh, and if Fallout New Vegas is like a 5-course meal and Skyrim is just a bag of cocaine, then Fallout 4 is just a pile of crap. It's just a literal pile of crap. Because even I, someone who has played Skyrim for about, I believe, 900 hours
Oh
at this
yeah.
point, most of those hours are modded, I will admit, but not over 900 hours at the most. I tried to play Fallout 4. I tried. I genuinely did. I just could not. It is so garbage. Dear God, it just drains your soul.
Yeah. Especially the writing.
Oh, yeah. It's me. I am your son.
Don't forget the
Oh my.
password being railroad.
Oh my God. And then Acerthorn tried to frickin' defend that with, well, they say, the characters say that it's a miracle that anyone can even frickin' write. Anyone can even freaking read or write in the world. Which is like, okay, A, there are a crap load of notes in the world, and B, the Institute is filled with scientists who all know how to read and write, so that doesn't even matter. And then Acerthorn tried to defend that with, well, there are also a lot of holotapes.
Oh my gosh. That's so stupid. Like, you basically have like a reading
Oh
test, and that's the
God.
password to get
Oh,
into your super secret
oh
organization.
no. Oh God, I should not have mentioned Acerthorn. I should
Oh
not have mentioned
no.
Acerthorn.
Because that's a
Because
whole
now,
thing.
not only that, he could genuinely sue me for that.
Oh no.
Because he's like
I'm taking no part
extreme.
in this. I haven't said anything.
Yeah.
I-
Oh my God. Oh my God. Our podcast might just die before it even starts because
Oof.
Acerthorn will just sue us. Oh my God. What have I done?
No.
What have I created? Well, actually, we haven't actually shown any videos or anything from him, so he can't copyright strike us, so we're still in the clear, baby.
Yeah.
Although he will probably still try to sue us for harassment or something.
Assuming anyone even finds this podcast.
Yeah, probably like 5 people find this podcast, and
And
even
how many are gonna watch through
Acerthorn.
the whole thing?
You'd be surprised how many people watch Stag and EFAP.
Fair enough.
Like, yeah, I watch Stag semi-regularly when I just need something to listen to while I'm, like, playing Skyrim for the umpteenth time, or playing Dark Souls 3 for the umpteenth time, or playing Bloodborne for the umpteenth time, or playing Elden Ring for the umpteenth time. It's always those 4.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're always
But
making
yeah.
new builds. It's crazy.
Yeah, I always am.
Me,
'Cause
I'm
it's
more
just
the type who I'll try to do everything in one playthrough, but then I'll get distracted with a new game, and then when I come back to that game, it's been so long I have to start again. I have to start a whole new save.
Yeah, you feel that too, huh? You just feel so
Yeah, because
inclined to
like my
start a new
goal is
game.
always to 100% a game, but I never reach that goal every single time. I always end up getting bored before that happens, and I move on. But I usually take my time with games.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh. Oh my God. My anxiety's kicking up. I'm still worrying about freaking Acerthorn.
Is he that bad?
He genuinely like sued creators with only 2 subscribers.
Oh no. Okay, we're not putting his name in the title or anything. Let's hope he don't find us.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hope this just stays anonymous and he doesn't find out. But, like, if he does, all I said was that he was wrong with his Fallout 4 criticism, so I can just say, actually, it was just criticism, my dude. And then the courts will just go like, yeah, it's just criticism, my dude. Just lay off, okay? Also, there's this thing called Actually, I'm not gonna say it because I'm just gonna. Let's just continue. Let's just continue. My
Alright.
anxiety is going to.
Okay, you want me? I'll
Yeah.
distract you from your anxiety with a dumb
I can't.
comics fact because I've been
Okay.
getting into stuff and
Okay. What eldritch
okay.
knowledge have you unveiled?
we already talked about before off the podcast about some dumb weaknesses that heroes have, like Green Lantern being weak to the color yellow. So this isn't a
Yeah.
weakness, but this is like a dumb secret identity alter ego. So Wolverine, right? We all know he's Logan, but he
Yeah.
has another alias called
Oh no.
Patch. And guess what his disguise is?
A patch.
An eye patch. That's the disguise. He just goes around, calls himself Patch. And Batman, he has like a disguise for getting into the criminal underworld called Matches Malone. And he just holds a match in his hand. At least he has like a
Sorry.
proper disguise for his face, but still.
I'm sorry, but what you just heard was my soul leaving my body. I'm now just a soulless
Comics
husk.
have a lot of dumb stuff, okay? And it's glorious.
You've already told me about some other dumb stuff, which we will not talk about yet, in order to spare our audience from the eldritch knowledge.
Yeah, we gotta be careful revealing this eldritch knowledge.
Yeah. It's just freaking
You know the funniest
insane.
part? Matches Malone was a real person. he got killed, and so Batman took over his identity. Oh yeah, Damian Wayne, the Robin. At one point, apparently he got he got in on the identity because he's little Matches, and his disguise is just like a
God.
fedora and sunglasses.
and
Because
there's
of course,
also-
when infiltrating the criminal underworld, you need to bring a child. That really helps the disguise. I forgot about that almost.
There's also Bat Cow.
Oh yeah. Okay, that seems like something that would actually happen though, cause like
Yeah, it's
Dave,
just like a silly
I
thing a young kid would do.
Yeah, like I think I enjoy that dynamic because we've got Damien who's like a little brat and he likes animals, and that's something a kid would normally do, like, oh, I'm just gonna take this animal now. But because Bruce Wayne is a billionaire and he's Batman, he has to actually do it. So they just have a cow now.
I am a vegetarian now, and this is Bat Cow.
Yeah, I think.
Remember that?
What?
Remember that one comic where like a cow turned into a vampire? And Deadpool, like, helped that cow seek revenge against the vampire that transformed him.
Why are you saying remember? I've never heard of this.
Oh, no.
That's really... I'm sorry. You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
Oh my gosh. Comics are crazy. That's kind of what happens when, for like... how many years? Like 50 years now, maybe? You have to, like, keep on pumping out issues. Along the way, you get a lot of good stories, but a lot of just craziness. And nobody knows what canon even is anymore.
Yeah. It's just insane how crazy remember when like Deadpool was talking to some AIM troopers and an AIM trooper liked the Star Wars prequel, so Deadpool just killed him?
Was that in the movies?
No, that's in a comic.
Oh, dang, I should read the Deadpool comics. I don't know why I haven't I've been just getting into DC stuff, but I've always been a Deadpool fan, so I really need to get into... Well, I only have so much space on my computer.
I mean, there is one really stupid thing that, like, the Marvel comics do.
What?
So, I've already talked to you about this before, but they had this thing where, like, Spider-Man got his identity revealed, and then Aunt May died. And then he,
Yeah.
like, had a cool moment where he got revenge on the Kingpin for killing Aunt May.
Mhm.
But then, after that, Peter Parker sacrificed his marriage with Mary Jane to get Aunt May back and to keep his identity a secret.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. That was like really dumb.
Oh yeah, you have all this character development. Now let's just piss it away.
Oh, did you know that there's an alternate universe where Aunt May is Spider-Man? She's like Spider Granny or something.
I believe it. I believe it. I just believe it. Yeah, that'd actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, like she's just like a sweet lady going around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it, but I can't.
And then there's also that one where like Gwen Stacy becomes Spider-Man.
Okay, well
Spider Gwen.
that's kind of cool though. She at least has a cool
Yes.
outfit.
Also, she popped up in the Spider-Verse movie. She was one of the Spider-Men that popped up there. And she like posed as a student in Miles' school before revealing herself as Spider-Gwen.
Ooh, I wonder
And
if
that was
the
pretty
Aunt May
cool.
Spider-Man will show up in the Spider-Verse sequel.
Oh god, that'd be great.
That
Like
would
the
actually
Aunt
be
May in the
cool.
first Spider-Verse movie was genuinely incredible because she was just like, yeah, Spider-Man is, yeah, I know about this Spider-Man stuff, and she was just in the groove with it. She like had all these Spider-Man costumes. She like had a secret lair with all these Spider-Man costumes. And she was just fully accustomed to, like, Spider-Man fighting bad guys. So when a bunch of bad guys come to her house, she's just like, crap, here we go again. Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was truly a phenomenon. Because not only was it an incredible movie with incredible art style, incredible story, incredible characters, and all that stuff, but it also was made by Sony Animation Studios, which
The same
was,
people who made the Emoji Movie.
yes, and the same people who made the live-action Smurf movies. I mean, it seems like Sony Animation has been doing better recently. They recently did Meet the Melvins, which I heard was pretty good.
Oh, you mean
But
Meet the Michaels? Michaels and the Machines?
Melvin, I think it's Melvins versus the Machines.
No, it's definitely Michaels.
Hold on. The Mitchells, we were both wrong.
I was closer though.
Oh, crap. It's the Mitchells versus the Machine. Oh, Spider-Man.jpg, I just got your image.
I just found. Okay, apparently she's called Spider-Man. And, okay, the hat is
Okay.
stupid. You have to agree with me.
Yeah, the hat is kind of stupid. Gracious, I'd wager we still hadn't fought the limits of your new webbing, Peter. I think we can call this test a complete success. Gosh, thank you. You'll be able to get around the city much easier now, and the sub-vocal transmitter means we'll be able to stay in touch when you do. Oh, wow, so Peter Parker is just working with Aunt May.
I guess he's like
That's
the guy
pretty
in
cool.
the chair. Yeah, I think Aunt
Yeah.
May's like, she's like open about her powers with Peter. Like, she doesn't try to hide it with him at all.
Yeah, that actually makes sense with her character, because again, just nice old lady. She wouldn't hide stuff like that, even if it was like a super crazy thing.
But
Okay.
yeah, there's just a lot of wacky stuff in comics.
There is. Okay, well, I think it's been like almost 3 hours now. I think
Two
it's
hours,
about
40
time.
minutes.
Yeah, I think it's about time we wrap it up, put in a bow tie, and end the stream. So
Yeah, I think that's a good
yeah,
place to end it.
yeah. This is the AAA podcast, the first ever AAA podcast episode with your boy Johnny
Yo.
and a piece of toast, a singular slice of
Yeah, it's
toast.
just a sentient piece of toast.
Yeah. Much like not to be confused with the SCP that is a toaster that convinces other people that they too are also toasters.
Dang.
But yeah, so this is me, Johnny off 14, and a piece of toast, and this has been the AAA podcast. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.